Hello, welcome back to Happy Breath Creations, where we explore all things art, yoga, and meditation. Today, I'm excited to take you through one of my favorite sketchbooks, the Arteza watercolor book. This book has been such a joy to use because it holds up to all the different materials that I throw at it, and plus the spiral binding makes it super portable, and the hardcover gives it a really sturdy surface for drawing wherever I go. Most of this sketchbook is simply an art journal where I recorded everything from big events to everyday moments. So let's dive in. On the first page, I wrote my life in art to set the tone for the rest of the sketchbook. I treated a lot of this book as a visual journal of sorts, documenting my day-to-day life through doodles and notes. I love how it feels like a little snapshot of moments in time, captured in color, ink, and graphite. These two pages are from April 26th, 2022. I was really into documenting my entire day, everything from the hours that I slept, a solid 8 hours and 15 minutes by the way, to this weird dream where my old Girl Scout troop and I were laying a roof but had no idea what we were doing. We eventually just gave up and played games instead. I also doodled my husband's aunt and uncle just for fun. At this point, I wasn't a yoga teacher yet, but I was studying independently. I noted some interesting things about breathing, along with some reflections on meditation. Oh, and I pulled a tarot card with some advice on overcoming fear and doubt. My meal plan that day was on point, lots of variety. Also, my herb garden was thriving. Chamomile, chives, cilantro, and rosemary. I was super proud of those little guys. Oh, this was a sick day. I just binge watched Gilmore Girls, cuddled with my dog, and stayed cozy with blankets, orange juice, and tissues. Not much else to do when you're sick but snuggle and doodle, right? After that sick day, I had to play catch up at work. I was also preparing for family coming into town for wedding dress shopping, so I was in full productivity mode. The theme here is work hard, play harder. Words to live by. This was a really fun day with my mom. We went to the Jack Daniel's distillery and explored the shopping area. My uncle and his son tagged along, but they went off on their own adventure. There was a bit of drama when my cousin's dog, Mudbud, escaped, and we had to stop traffic to chase him down. It was a total fiasco, but Mudbud was having the time of his life. We eventually got him back safe and sound, thankfully. April 30th, such a big day. My mom and my mother-in-law met for the first time, and I said yes to the dress. We celebrated with charcuterie boards and drinks, and then headed to my friend's house for hot tubbing, Mexican food, and a slumber party. It was the perfect way to prep for May Day celebrations, which would happen the next day. May Day was magical. A group of us went to Arrington Vineyards to celebrate. We made flower crowns, handed out extra flowers to strangers, and we just had the best time. We played games, enjoyed some wine, and had lots of snacks. We even talked about wedding plans, so it was a day full of creativity and connection. On May 2nd, my intern was about to graduate, so my boss and I took her out for a nice farewell lunch. Little did we know she would end up coming back to work with us at Centerstone later on, but it was a lovely send-off. I got some exciting news on May 3rd. My car salesperson called to let me know that my car would be ready on May 14th. I was so excited that I doodled all the special features that I'd chosen, like the moonroof, the bike carrier, the heated seats, all the things. It was a Subaru, and I couldn't wait to take it on adventures. On May 4th, I ended up meeting up with a friend for breakfast and then had dinner with my work friends to celebrate Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. Cinco de Mayo was a day filled with tacos, guacamole, and margaritas. Despite trying to lose weight, I had gained 1.5 pounds, but oh well. My friend's husband did all the cooking, but unfortunately he got a migraine and he couldn't even enjoy the food with us. It was a fun night though. This day was super rainy and uneventful, but I still drank a gallon of water and I doodled it to just make it a little bit more fun. My brother's birthday was on May 7th, but we didn't celebrate that day. I still noted it though, and we ended up going out a little bit later in the month to make up for it. For Mother's Day, we took my husband's mom out for a nice lunch. Then we spent the afternoon watching birds in the backyard and just enjoying the sunshine. It was a nice, peaceful day. On May 9th, I was down 0.2 pounds and feeling great. I went for a 7-mile bike ride, and I was dog sitting for my brother and ended up walking the dogs for over an hour. It was a pretty active day. I learned about Siddhasana, a yoga pose that everything else should really prepare you for. The meditation technique of the day was all about focusing on the breath, a simple but powerful practice. We had a goodbye lunch for some coworkers who were retiring or moving on. It was a bittersweet day, but we tried to cheer everyone up. After work, I hit the mall with some friends, and we treated ourselves to Auntie Anne's, pretzels, and a little retail therapy. On May 12th, I kept up with my yoga studies. The pose of the day was Baddha Konasana, which helps with pelvic cramps. The meditation technique was points of contact, where you focus on how your body touches the ground during practice. The next page documents a hilarious Dungeons & Dragons session where I bombarded a new character with millions of questions. It was such a silly moment, and I had to doodle it to remember all the fun. On May 14th, we had a movie date with some friends. We saw Batman. I loved capturing these little social moments and doodles throughout this sketchbook. The next day, we took my husband's aunt out for her birthday, and my husband picked up his wedding suit and shoes. Big steps in the wedding planning process and definitely worth documenting. The next day, we went to the C12 member banquet, and my husband won the Buffalo Award with the owner of his company. It was such a fun night, and I love these little moments of life that show up in this sketchbook. On May 17th, I spent the entire day making art. These are the kind of days that I live for, just me, my sketchbook, and hours of uninterrupted creativity. This page is just a fun little doodle I did with graphite. Sometimes when nothing significant happens, I just let the pencil do the talking. We had a board meeting for the nonprofit that I was involved with, Love Must Win. It's an organization that promotes inclusive love for all, and it felt really important to document that day. My friend was having a tough time, so a group of us took him out to dinner to show our support. I doodled him crying with all of us and our pets holding him up. It was a sweet moment of friendship, and I'm really happy that I got to document that. I picked up my new car! I had to say goodbye to my old car, Maggie, but I was really excited to start new adventures with Roscoe, my Subaru. I doodled both cars on this page to remember them. On this page, I captured a lazy Sunday spent watching TV with my husband. We dove into some of our favorite sci-fi flicks like Love, Death, and Robots and Gattaca. It's a great reminder that not every day needs to be productive. Sometimes it's about relaxing and just enjoying the moment. Here, I documented my meals for the day because who doesn't love food? I also got my car insured. This page is filled with doodles of chores that I tackled. I sketched myself sweeping, vacuuming, and washing windows. It might seem mundane, but finding joy in the everyday tasks can be a creative exercise. It's all about perspective. Turning chores into art makes the routine a little bit more enjoyable. On this day, I clearly had a lazy start. I sketched myself laying in bed, and later I drove my car around, which was super exciting, ending the day with cuddles with my dog and indulging in some Sonic made for a perfect cozy day. These little moments of joy are what life is really all about. This was a special day. It was my dad's birthday, but he lives far away. I doodled my family and wrote, "We miss you and we love you so much." It's a nice way to keep him close despite the distance. My husband and I went out with some friends. We shared a table full of shepherd's pie and just had a good time. Food, friends, and family. What more could you ask for? With my husband away, I indulged in some serious TV time. Watched a bunch of fantasy island type movies and shows. It's interesting how storytelling in films can inspire my own creativity, offering new ideas and new perspectives. May 28th, I finally got to celebrate my brother's birthday with him. We went to his favorite restaurant, and then we had a movie night at my house watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's all about making memories with loved ones, and I loved being able to document these experiences. This day was all about adventure with my dog. We went recycling, we picked up treats and toys, and hiking, and we even drove around with the windows down. Pure bliss. The day ended with a lovely chat with me and my elderly neighbor, which reminded me of the beauty of community connections. For Memorial Day, I expressed my gratitude to soldiers through a drawing. I spent the day observing nature, watering plants, and preparing for my husband's return. This balance of reflection and care is so fulfilling. The last day of my Find Your Flow challenge was significant as it marked the end of my daily art journaling journey. Documenting this process helped me see how much I grew in just a month. What a powerful experience. Here, I took notes from a journaling class. We explored fonts, illustrations, and design finishes. Learning from others really helps keep my creativity flowing and gives me new techniques to try. In another class, we learned about pretty lettering. I wrote the word dream in block letters and decorated them with different designs. It was a fun exercise that reminded me of the beauty in both words and visuals. Here, I sketched a profile portrait, experimenting with using the background to shape the foreground. It's interesting to see how different techniques can alter the perception of a drawing. Continuing with portraits, I practiced drawing faces. While this isn't one of my best, it was a step in my learning journey, and each attempt brings me closer to improvement. This portrait of a woman screaming captures a powerful emotion. I'm definitely still learning, but exploring feelings through art is incredibly impactful. It shows how art can convey deep emotions. Here's another portrait where I played with darkening the background to define the foreground better. Experimenting with light and dark helps me understand depth in my drawings. And then on this page, I played with different pencil lead sizes to create various marks. I made a loose, generic face using scribbles, which is a reminder that not every piece needs to be perfect. Sometimes the fun is in the process. Here's a wacky face without a jaw or forehead, just some silly features. It's essential to embrace playfulness in art. It allows creativity to flow without restriction. And then continuing with wacky features, I experimented with rounded shapes to create the eyelids and the nostrils. This playful approach can help you learn about different forms while keeping the process lighthearted. On this profile portrait, there's something about the eyes that captivates me. I feel like they really draw my gaze inward and creates a focal point that invites the viewer to connect with the piece. Here, I tried my hand at shading on this portrait. Some color seeped in from the next page, which became sort of a distraction, but it's just a reminder that even mistakes can lead to unexpected outcomes in art. I created a color wheel using alcohol markers, learning how to mix them effectively or not so effectively. Color theory is such an important part of creating vibrant and engaging art. Here's another portrait using alcohol markers, this time drawn straight on. I'm still definitely learning blending techniques with alcohol markers, but every attempt helps me improve. Here, I experimented with black ink, learning how different amounts of water and ink can affect the marks that I create. This kind of playful exploration is key to discovering your unique style. And the next page, a friend came over. We had a lot of fun swapping sketchbooks between drawings. I sketched my dog and some ladybugs and a whimsical man fishing for stars. Collaboration can spark new ideas, and that's just so much fun. On this page, I experimented more with ink and what it does when you add water or use a dry brush technique. So I made lots of different kinds of faces, and a strawberry and a tree. Here I painted some turtles swimming underwater with bubbles all around them. And on the next page is a tea set. This was a fun way to experiment with ink and form, showcasing the joy of imaginative creations. On the next 2 pages, I returned to the basics, learning about hatching and cross-hatching and shading. It's crucial to revisit those fundamental skills as they form the foundation for all artistic endeavors. And finally, I ended this sketchbook with a silly flower saying, "So thirsty." It perfectly sums up the playful spirit of my journey. Art should be fun, expressive, and a little silly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this time left you feeling more inspired, grounded, creative, and ready to carry a sense of creativity and calm into the rest of your day. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me create more content just like this. You can also check out my website or support my work on Patreon for exclusive content and more. Links are all in the description below. Remember, wherever you are on your journey, there's always space to breathe, create, and grow. May you find your happiest of breaths, and I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.